bothered me so much that I called my dad and asked, "Dad, is mom racist?" Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to be talking about something that makes many people uncomfortable to discuss: dating someone undocumented. My hope is that through sharing my experiences, I could shed some light on a common dynamic that fear keeps many people from speaking on. Whether you are in a mixed status relationship or you're just curious, you're looking for ways to support somebody, I hope that the insights that I offer resonate with you. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. I've always lived in very diverse areas, be it New Jersey, Georgia. I was consistently surrounded by people who did not look like me, were not from the country, did not speak English, and that was all normal. After falling in love with the Spanish language, I felt really strongly about wanting to be with somebody who spoke the language fluently. So I wouldn't say that I was specifically attracted to undocumented men, but I was definitely drawn to Spanish speakers because I felt like they challenged me to become a better communicator. The more friendships I made, the more people I met, the more that veil of ignorance lifted, and I came to realize that the people that I found most fascinating were those who had different stories than my own. The same way you meet anyone at work, at school, out with friends, through friends, on dating apps, undocumented people are people. They are living their lives just like you and I, and sometimes our paths cross. It's changed over the years. None of these guys hid their legal statuses from me. I proceeded knowingly into relationships with them, though I was admittedly a bit naive in the beginning. The first person to tell me was actually this guy from this story time over here. Watch that afterwards. Finish this one. I immediately told him that it didn't matter. And I wasn't trying to be romantic. I was sincerely interested in getting to know him as Juan, not Juan the illegal alien. To be honest, it felt unfair to write him off because of his status when everything else about him seemed to be a green flag. Until it wasn't, but you can check out that story time after this video for more. Fast forward to my future relationships, my approach evolved. I started asking questions while getting to know that person. How did you get to the US? Why did you decide to come here? Have you ever been arrested before or deported before? Do you plan to stay in the US, or is this a means to an end for you? Answers to those questions and more gave me a better idea of how forward-thinking this person was, how they viewed their time in the United States, to what degree they respected and understood the legal system, and how they would potentially view their relationship with me. If they passed the vibe check, we would continue getting to know each other. My siblings were indifferent due to my interests. They kind of expected me to end up with a Latino, and anytime I dated somebody who wasn't Latino, they would question it. The person that was most reactive was my mom. When I told my mom that I was dating Juan from Mexico and he didn't have papers, the first thing that she asked me was, "Krista, does he sell drugs?" Followed by these demands that I never leave the United States because I don't know whether or not he's trying to kidnap me. I remember hanging up from that phone call feeling really shocked, confused, and disappointed. It bothered me so much that I called my dad a little while later and asked, "Dad, is mom racist?" Through our conversation, I realized that neither of my parents were racist, but they were misinformed. They consumed a lot of media that sensationalized undocumented immigrants as criminals, and naturally they were worried for my safety. But when they finally met Juan in person, my parents fell in love with him. They wanted him to come home for the holidays with me. He kept in contact with a couple of my brothers just via emojis because they didn't speak each other's languages. He made friends with my 90-year-old grandmother, who even years after the relationship ended would consistently ask me how he was. Not one time did anyone make a sideways comment about him not speaking English, not being from the United States, and not having papers. The biggest win for me was the change in my mom. She got really curious about Juan's story and started to research why people come to the US illegally, what risks there are when they do it, what the economic and political situation was in Mexico at that time. But she also became really interested in immigration reform for people with DACA and paths to citizenship for others. That in and of itself makes me feel like that relationship was worth it. So many. One of the biggest fears for me in that first relationship was deportation. The idea of the person that I cared about so much being here one day and completely taken away from me the next was terrifying. And it didn't help that he was terrified of being deported. He refused to fly, take the train, or even public transportation because he was convinced that police had the right to stop those modes of transportation and pull undocumented immigrants off of them anytime they chose. In my head, if Juan didn't call me when he said he was going to call me, he had been deported.
Right to jail.
If he was late coming back from the store, it was because he got detained and he was on his way to being deported.
Right to jail. Right away.
I felt like I couldn't tell anyone about our relationship because then they would ask questions and I would have to reveal his status, and then they'd call the cops to report him and he would be deported. I was incredibly overwhelmed and I didn't know how to express or handle that worry. I cried a lot, both in private and in front of him. I talked incessantly about my fears with him, which of course made him feel horrible. Beyond the uncertainty about our future, I was worried about having a limited life. I didn't want to have to drive everywhere in the United States when I could fly. I didn't want to be the only one that understood everything all the time. I didn't want for him to have to travel all around the state and in different states to get consistent work under the table. I didn't want to start a family with him if he wasn't going to be there to watch it grow. It was too much to hold in, too much to talk about with my partner, too much to share with somebody unfamiliar with our predicament. I handled the stress really poorly, and it did a number on my mental health. As I moved through other relationships and I met other mixed status couples, I learned to manage my emotions better and to think clearer. To close this video, I want to share with you the 7 tips that saved my sanity while dating undocumented individuals. It's easy to feel isolated because obviously no one feels safe talking about this topic with people they don't know. There are many that are exactly where you are, that are feeling exactly what you're feeling. There is help and there is hope for a happy, healthy relationship. I did not do this part. Prioritize your mental health and your emotional well-being, please. Engage in self-care practices like exercise, prayer, meditation, whatever calms you down. Eat well, sleep well. A healthy partner contributes to a healthy relationship. You're going to experience a range of emotions that you're going to want to talk through with your partner, but at some point you need to avoid relying solely on them for comfort. Remember, they have been dealing with these limitations and pressures for longer than you have been in their life. What's a fear for you is a fact for them, and maybe they aren't able to provide the kind of support that you're looking for. You also don't want to overhelp, like trying to solve all of their legal problems by committing to marriage too soon, serving as the designated driver everywhere you go, being their 24/7 interpreter, or unintentionally treating your partner like a charity case. A therapist, counselor, or support group can offer valuable, objective feedback, coping strategies, and assist you with establishing healthy boundaries in your relationship. You can't be an ostrich with your head in the sand on this one. You've got to take the time to learn about the rights and the resources available to undocumented individuals. I'll include some links to some helpful blogs and organizations that I'm aware of in the comments below. If your relationship is serious and you're thinking about marriage, consider visiting an immigration and family law office for a consultation. Hearing from a legal expert can help clear up assumptions and give you fact-based expectations on what is to come as your relationship progresses. While we all hope for the best, it's wise to prepare for the unexpected. Discuss how you'll handle finances, where important documents are going to be located, where passwords can be found, what conversations you're going to have with your family and your kids if you have any. Without a plan, if something happens, you're going to find yourself in a state of shock and disorganization. So get your ducks in a row now to ensure that you are able to support yourself and others should the need arise. Building a relationship with an undocumented partner may require extra patience and perseverance. Factors like their fluency in your language or your fluency in theirs, education level and literacy, the amount of time your partner has lived in this country, or how much knowledge you have of each other's culture all influence your connection. Challenges will arise, so move slowly and educate yourself accordingly. Open-mindedness and understanding can help your relationship thrive. Planning for the future is important, but don't forget to cherish the time that you have together now. Creating joyful memories can provide a buffer against stress and strengthen your bond. Learn about each other's cultures, create new experiences together, and take pictures to capture those moments. Reflecting on the positive aspects of your relationship can help you both feel more grounded and resilient. While challenges are a part of a mixed status relationship, I strongly believe that love, faith, and perseverance can overcome any obstacle. As Maya Angelou beautifully put it, love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. And I hope and pray that that's your story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with somebody that would benefit from watching. I feel like if this message reaches and helps one person, my job is done. As we always say on our channel, with God, all things are possible. I hope to see you again next week. Take care.